Boy. All right. What do we got going on? Yeah. All right. Oops. There we go. There we go. What's going on, party people? This your man Grill. Hard, long, busy month. Mm, mm, mm. Mm, mm, mm. All right. So I gotta take care of that. How that happen? All right. So let me. So what's going on? Yeah, we got a little bit of a program change. Our guest speaker got sick, so she's not able to hop on. What's going on, Shannon? And but we do have somebody else that said they want to come on and share. So we just gonna have this open to just chop it up with each other, and everything. So I'm how I want to do this. I want to do this. And I know there was a few people from the membership that said they wanted to slide in here and hop on. So I need to let me get this information to them. So how's everybody going this week? What's been going on? What's been going on with y'all? Uh, I know I thought I was going to have a Saturday off, and I do not. I do not have a Saturday off. I gotta go out there and make it happen. Um, but I only got one closing tomorrow, so I should be okay. I should get that done and probably come home and think about taking a nap, but actually don't take a nap. That's really, really, really it. All right. So let me make sure I got this straight. Going to down that four and then the CS. Yeah. All right. There we go. So they should be good to go. So yeah. Oh my man, he said this week been popping. Um, yeah, my calendar has been lit. I'm serious. My calendar has been just straight. Oops, just been straight lit this whole month. Um, I'm serious. The month of August was good for your man Grill. I'm serious. It was good. Um, so let me see if I can show y'all this here real quick. Oh man. So any questions that y'all got concerning the business? Like I said, our guest speaker, she fell sick. And so we're gonna try to get her on next week. We also have another guest speaker that's gonna come on and talk about the business and next week and share what's been going on with him. He actually retired from regular corporate America and everything. So he's going to hop on and talk to us about that. This tonight he has an event that he had to go to, so he couldn't slide on up in here. But you know, we're gonna make this thing roll. So um let me see if I can show y'all. So add the stage. So what y'all are seeing here is my calendar. Everything in blue and gray is in order, but primarily the stuff that's in blue is an order that I had to do. So this is the 1st of August, and then the following week, the 6th through the 12th, I had all those orders. Then the next week, I mean, you look at this, I had one, two, three, four, and the green is also an order. 4, 5, 6. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I had 3 days in a row that I had at least 6 closings. 3 days in a row. You know, three that's awesome for me. So it was busy. It was real busy. And then the following week, now you see I got this one big gap of time. He ain't have much. But then at the end part of the week, it's that was a car repair stuff, the green thing. That's not an appointment. I had to take the car to the shop and end up paying $1,200. Oh man. So that's been my month. And then this last week, I started off with 5 and then ended up with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. 17 in 4 days. Whew. That is some work. That is some work. So if you're a channel member, you want to hop on, hit me up, and be glad to have you come on and share your thoughts about the notary business and let the people know what you've been doing to be successful. So for me, it's been all about consistency, just finding a way to be consistent in responding to orders. Then once I get the orders, get myself prepared for the orders, go out and do the orders, um, all of that. It's been about consistency. And the more consistent I am, the better things have been. But when I'm all over the place and not focused, it makes it hard. Now, that's not to say you can't have other business ventures, other interests. You just have to make up your mind that, okay, when I'm doing the notary business, I'm doing the notary business. And you can't just be constantly focused on everything else. So I'm doing the notary business, but I'm thinking about this other job, this other business, this other thing. You got to stay focused while you're in the moment. And that was hard for me at first. Now it's easy. I can just get in here and I'm not thinking about anything else out here that I got going on. I'm just focused on the notary. Um, Consistency is going to be key because if you don't have consistency, it's going to be very, very hard for you to develop the proper habits of success. You know, very, very hard. So getting caught up in all the shiny stuff. That is correct. And that's what I'm hearing from a lot of people. They're caught up into that. They're thinking that, oh, if I take this next course, take this, that. No, it's not about that. It's about being consistent as a notary. Now, let me share this for those of you who are watching um, that think that when I talk about the problem we have in the notary business, like I did last night, about us being the anchor leg and going across the finish line and being taught properly how to do that. um, these are thoughts that I've already had. If you're talking about something on the internet, even if I'm watching, even if I come by and look at it, please don't flatter yourself thinking that you sparked me into talking about this or that my conversation is really fully directed at what you're doing. I already had these feelings and I've already been talking this way for over 3 years. So I do get some of my content off of what I hear people talk about online, especially when they make statements that don't make any sense. But again, it's not personal. I'm just talking facts about business. People make statements, I address them. Either you can support it or you can't. One of the things that I share with the channel members today is a lot of stuff that we're getting trained into doing, a lot of the stuff that they're training us to do doesn't get evaluated. If you really think about it, Let's do this here. In the chat, when you're doing a loan closing, oh, my audio's still there. Y'all can still hear me? I think y'all can. Yep, I'm seeing the indicator. Okay, I just got a thing saying y'all, my mic was acting up. Okay, but here's the thing. I want y'all in the chat to type what items get evaluated when we do a loan closing. What are the items that get evaluated when we do a loan closing? What do we get? What gets evaluated? So I can tell you right now, the first thing that gets evaluated is notary stamps. That's the first thing. So what else gets evaluated? Because remember, a lot of people want to get this ABCD grade. So what are the things that actually get evaluated when we're out here? What are the things that get evaluated? That's what I would like to know from y'all. What gets evaluated? So let me see what my man Greg said. Common apostle or some shiny stuff too good not to pay attention to, meaning AI. Regular, I'm talking about the different businesses not being focused. I use AI every day with the business and other everyday stuff. Yeah, I use AI all the time. Everything has to be done in balance. It has to really be done in balance. One thing I have found out is that there's always a small percentage of people who actually are doing things right. So tell me, what outside of notary stamps, what is getting evaluated when it goes back to the post closing, when it goes back to the title company, when it goes back to the lender? What's actually being evaluated for the work that we did? Please tell me in the comment section. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. This ain't about having the exact right answer and all that. If you're wrong, you're wrong. I'm not, nobody gonna jump on you and fuss you out. And if they do, we kick them out out of here. We ban them. We block them. You're gone. But what is something that you feel that when you send them loan documents back is going to get evaluated by the signing company and the title company concerning what they asked you to do? Mm-hmm. Okay, excellent. The quality of the work, the printing, the proper notarization, the quality of the scans. Bingo. That's some. Okay, what else? What else? There's more. There's actually more that gets evaluated. Okay, now Shannon, she worked in the title office, so she knows. She knows. There you go. Another one. Legible writing. Mm-hmm. There you go. Dates and signatures. Bingo. Mm-hmm. What else? What else? There's another one that starts with the letter I. We forget that sometimes. There's another one that starts with the letter I that we get evaluated on. One of the other things we get evaluated on is appearance and on time. Meaning we showed up, our appearance or how we look, as well as smell, and were we on time? Because they asked them that in the survey. Now, and the other thing that starts with I is initials. Initials. Because we also got to make sure that we have them initial where they're supposed to. That's the question. So we got to make sure we have them initial where they're supposed to initial at. Okay. So one of the things that we do not get evaluated on, and this is the closing that I did. I got to ship this out in the morning. We don't get evaluated on whether or not we broke these down. We don't, because that's not our wheelhouse. We don't get evaluated about whether we help them understand the listing agent commission fee, selling agent commission fee, the title owner's policy to LE Title LLC, the CPL lender premium, the first half delinquent stormwater to the city of Chesapeake, admin fee to Real Broker LLC. We don't get evaluated on that. We do not get evaluated on, yep, that's it, copy of the ID. What's going on, Mark? Good to see you. We don't get evaluated on what comes out of our mouth about the documents. We get evaluated whether we get into political discussions, religious discussions, financial discussions, things of that nature. But nobody is checking to see if we help them to understand the document, because if they signed it, it is understood that they understood. It is understood that they understood and agree with the documents. But what are we being taught? So out of everything that was listed, who's teaching us that? Who's teaching us about the IDs? Who's teaching us about the initials? Somebody might say something about appearance and times, date and signatures, all of that. And correct with Ron that it's being recorded. Excellent, Desmond. Thank you for that. Thank you. Thank you very much for that. The big thing is that nobody's teaching this part right here, proper notarization. But we get evaluated on it. So you are actually being taught about things that you're not getting evaluated on. I'm not looking for a grade. I'm not looking for an ABCD grade. I'm not looking for somebody to, even tell me that I'm preferred. Because if you pick me every time I consider that being preferred, you ain't got to tell me. Actions speak louder than words. You select me, you can say you're preferred, but I never get selected. So I'm looking at what are we being taught? And we're being taught about things that we're truly not being evaluated on. And who's doing the evaluating? I don't know why my little back, small part of my back itches. But why are we getting, what makes you think we're getting evaluated? The bigger question is this. How many of you are being asked these questions about documents? Like I heard, loan terms. I've never been asked about what are my loan terms. I've been asked about, hey, where's my interest rate? I've never been asked about why the money's on the CD or the alter statement. So I don't know where people are doing these closings or who they're doing them with, but these probing questions that should be answered by title and the lender, I don't get asked that. And even now, I don't even get asked about interest rates. Here's what I get asked. I get asked, is this a good company? Have you been working with them long? How long have you done closings with them? Have you seen any problems with them? That's what I get asked. Do you think this is a good deal? Now I might get asked, do you think this is a good interest rate? Not about what's the interest rate, but do you think this is a good interest rate? Those are questions that I get asked. Nobody's asking me to help them decipher whether or not they should do the deal. Nobody's asking me to help them to decipher whether or not, they made the best decision or they should have waited. They don't. They're like, is this a good company? Have you had problems with this company? Have you heard something about this company? And see, when you get questions like that, that tells you there's something that's going on that you're not privy to, and it's best to stay away from it. So what I end up doing is I let the company know right away, hey, they got a question. They got some concerns. I'm just straight up snitching because I don't want anybody thinking that I gave any kind of legal advice. So we got decisions to make on whether or not we're going to move forward in this business and keep getting caught up in the shiny things, or we're going to go ahead on and get caught or go ahead on and just make the decisions that we see we need to make, which is let me learn my state laws, let me learn how to do the things that I need to do so that I can be a great notary. That's what we need to be doing. Okay. So let me ask this question. Is anybody out here having problems understanding how to properly notarize a document and how to fill out a notarial certificate? Is there anybody that is currently here right now on this live that is stuck and struggling with understanding how to do a how to fill out a notarial certificate? And if you are, tell me what the issue is. I need you to put it in the chat. Tell me what the issue is. What are you getting stuck on? What's confusing you? That's what I need to know so we can try to help you out. Let me see here. Try to find, because if everybody here is doing good and understands how to properly notarize, then we really shouldn't be having too much of any kind of problems. There really shouldn't be too many problems out here far as notaries struggling. Is anybody struggling? Is anybody and don't be afraid to say so, okay? This is not anybody trying to bash you or anything. This is somebody trying to help you, okay? If you are stuck, if you are having problems, if you got questions, let me ask this question. What do you do you know what to do if the notarial certificate is not all on the same page? Meaning it's split between two pages. It starts on page one or on one page, and then it ends up on the next page. Hmm? Do you know what to do? Have you done? Have you dealt with that before? One of the problems that you come into sometimes is while you're doing the notarial certificate and you putting in the venue, your signer will look at it and see that you put the venue of where you're at, but the property is in another state. And they'll try to demand that you change the venue to match where the property is because they don't understand that the venue is about where we're at the time of the notarization. And you will have that from time to time. And they can be the type of person who think that they're always right. And they can be very demanding. And you have to know your notary laws in order to do a little pushback and say, hey, no, we can't do that. This is what this means. So nobody's struggling. Nobody has any problems with the notarial certificate. That means everybody understands how to fill out a notarial certificate. That when you see the notarial certificate, you know exactly what to do. There's no questions. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. You know what to do. You know exactly what to do. So where is my thing? Because if you don't, you need to get help. So that means when you see this here notarial certificate, you know exactly what goes where. You know exactly how to fill this out across the board. When you see this notarial certificate, you know what needs to go there. Minus your California people. You know what needs to go there. If you're confident that you know how to fill out a notarial certificate, put a 1 in the chat. If you're struggling, put a 2 in the chat. Okay, so you're new and you don't know what to do. I would ask ChatGTP. That is a good question. That is a good way to figure it out. That is one way to figure it out. There's nothing wrong with that. How should we handle the notarial certificates broken up on 2 pages? I was hoping you would try to tell me what you think, channel member. I was hoping you would at least try to give me a educated guess. Just take a stab at it. Just give it a shot. I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna tell you. But so, and I know some of y'all might be using Chat GTP now, trying to figure out the answer and stuff. So let me see something. So I have an example to show y'all of this. So don't worry, I got examples. I got examples of what to show you concerning that. All right. So thank you for taking the guess. All right. So let's thank you for taking a guess. Now, here's an example of a notarial certificate being put on 2 different pages. Ideally, you would not want to fill this out because most states want the notarial certificate to be all on 1 page. So you would just add a all-purpose acknowledgement. Or what you could do also is this part here that says printed name and commission, you may be able, depending on your state law, hand write that in down here and add it in here so it's all on the same page, even though it's on here. You can't take that and stick it up there, but you can hand write printed name. So actually, right up underneath right here, right underneath next to Notary Public, you could write your name right there. And if you write small enough, you could go right underneath and say, my commission expires, ... And if they ask you, you say, well, my state law requires that the whole notarial certificate be on 1 page. Or you can add an all-purpose acknowledgement so that people will be able, so that it'll take the place of that. Now, depending on that company, do you write see attached? You just ask them, you see. So like Shannon said, I would have attached an all-purpose certificate and notarized that, because you having your stamp on a second page, on a subsequent page, may be in violation of what your state wants. So you have to check with your state. And in my state, what they say is if the notarial certificate, the whole certificate is on a completely different page from the person's signature, their name has to be added to that notarial certificate. So as an example, I always have examples. So as an example, this is a notarial certificate that is on a completely different page and the person's name is in there. If for some reason their name is not in there, you can add it in. You can handwrite it in. You don't have to put in the name of person acknowledged, but you can just handwrite their name in there and then stamp this. Because this will be the equivalent of a loose certificate. But you don't have to stamp the other one, the one with their signature, and then stamp this one. You don't need to do that. You just stamp this one. Okay? So that's what you would do. Another example that you will get from Bill of Title, with the certificate looking just like this, the notarial certificate a lot of times will be split just like this. What's going on, Dorinda? Good to see you. it will be split like this. And it says, remember that your notarial certificate has to be on one page, not divided between two pages. If so, add a certificate. That's what you should do. That's what you need to do. That way, um, that's what you need to do. And I've done this with Villa title stuff. To me, all they had to do was just create this document on a legal page, but for whatever reason, they won't. So I add a certificate. In this case, it's a jurat. So they've been sworn in, and I just add it. You can add if you want. You can probably write see attached if you want. I don't, and I've never had a problem with it. And what I do is I put the notarial certificate on top of the second page so that as they're flipping, that was be the first thing they see after they flip it. So that's what I do with that. And 99% of the times with Old Republic, I'm sorry, with Villa Title, that's what you're gonna see, hands down. So here's another one. Very, very small. Very small. This is a very small area. Notary stamp over here. Depending on your state law, they may not want you to stamp because you can't fit it in there. And the verbiage on the stamp will be covered up, or it will cover possibly some of the line, the text. So you can, remember this here is not wouldn't be on there. Then you stamp right below it. But you take your time and you fill all of this out. Now, here's a key thing. Let me zoom in a little bit more. Does anybody see what the problem is with this notarial certificate right here? But I already got it in here. I'm sorry, I got the answer. It has the business name in here. So these people, I made up some names. These people are signing it, but they got a business name in here. So that's a problem. And we don't notarize business, we notarize actual people, not the business entity. So if you see a notarial certificate that has a business entity in it, if you can cross it out, initial, and put the person's name in there, or add it in front of there, if there's space, then do so. If not, you may have to have a separate corporate acknowledgement, or if it's just a basic, not regular acknowledgement, then you use that. But you are not notarizing an entity. You're notarizing a human being who signed the document. And then here's another one. And all this is saying is that they took the title with a misspelled name. I made up a name. They took the title with a misspelled name. So you just notarizing this person here who took the title as that name because somebody misspelled it. Says CA notaries almost never use jurats on loan packages for properties outside of California. Okay. So this is why it's important to know your law. So I know I'm kicking and throwing a dead horse over the cliff, but it just bears to be mentioned. This is why understanding your state laws is so important. So, like this here one, when I saw this, it threw me off tremendously, and I was like, I don't know what to do with this. So all I did was add in a notarial certificate. I was like, I'm not messing with this. I sort of understood it. It was like this instrument was acknowledged before me on this date. And it said, in the rare case of a corporation or trustee, it will continue in my capacity of blank for blank. And I was like, I ain't got time to try to figure that out. So I didn't mess with that. Didn't mess with it at all. You see? So any questions, any concerns, any observations that you have concerning, you know what I'm saying? Because this is the bread and butter. This is what we have to do. If you do not understand how to fill this out, how to do this, Like in this case, the venue is wrong for me because I'm not in Florida or Escambia. So I would change that. Okay. And then this is what it would. Or then, I don't know why I thought I had it in there. But you would just line through initial, put the correct state and city, and then completely fill this out. Now, here's something that will happen from time to time. You see this here? I just made up a name. Sometimes you will see a Amber or Megan or Earl or whoever. You will see somebody else's name there. And the reason why is because they typically do those closings in the office. And that is the person who normally does it. So they already got their name pre-printed. You just one line, initial, and print your name down there. That's all you got to do. Is there any confusion about how to fill this out? Is there any confusion about how to fill this out? Is there any confusion about how to fill this out? Take a moment to look at it. Let me scroll it up. Take a moment to look at it. You're going to visualize that somebody signed it right here. Oh, that's right. I keep forgetting I put a password on here now. And I can't remember what the password is. That's right. I forgot. I put a password on here one late night, and I can't remember what the password is at all. So I can't even edit it. My bad, y'all. So, is there any questions about what to put in these blanks? What these blanks mean? Is there any concern? Any, I'm not sure, and at all? Because if you don't have any questions, then that means you should not be calling people and putting stuff on Facebook saying, I need help how to learn and understand how to notarize this. What do I put here? What do I put there? Let me turn that fan off my back. That fan is cold. Whew, chilly. So, any concerns, any questions about this? This is from Boston National Title. You will see a lot of these in your loan packet. So it seems like we got some of the smartest people in the world here with these notaries. So I mean that means shoot, there's no need for any more training. Oh, 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 oh. Mm-mm. Hold on. All right, hold on. I did something wrong on my StreamYard thing. Hold on one second. So here's the answer. This is how this should be filled out. Any questions? Any questions at all? There you go. All right. I sent her the, I had messed up the link. So all you're doing is putting in they sign it, state, county, the date, the name of the person who signed the document in front of you. In this case, you don't personally know them. They produce ID, passport, and let's just say if it was two people, but it could be passport and driver's license or one of them, your signature, printed name, commission date. That's all. This is one of the most simple, easy. What's going on, Wanda? Good to see you. Good to see you at all. Good to see you. Well, we know Dorinda. She knows. Dorinda, one of the smart ones. She knows. She know what to do. So this is the notarial certificate, and you'll see these same ones over and over and over again. I think you'll see this with Orange Coast Lending a lot. And then this is all you're doing to fill it out. State, county, the 30th day of November, the year, your signature, date, and of course stamp. I didn't have time to put a stamp up there. Here's the same one I asked earlier. Do you know what to do? Do you know what to do to fill it out? And if you notice here how I got my name, I have to print my name like that because my name is too long. So I actually double stack it just like that. Stephen Christopher Griffin III, put their name in there, all of that. So for the young lady, Denise, do you have any questions about the notarial certificate? Is there anything that's still confusing to you? I have no problem answering your question. Feel free to ask. Any questions, young lady? Any questions? So this is what our goal is. I mean, this is when we do this, when we do these two things, get them to sign it, date it, okay, do their part. When we get them to do their part and we do our part, we're bringing it across the finish line. But when we don't do our part and we come to the finish line, they're like, you're not finished. You got to go back. And that's what tends to happen. We always get told we got to go back. And after a while, you get tired of being told you got to go back. So that means you got to start learning how to fix this thing. You got to start learning how to do it correctly. So it is okay. So made it very clear. So that's what this is all about. So that's why I don't understand how people can take time out of their busy day in their life and hyper focus on teaching us stuff that we're not getting evaluated on, that's not getting recorded, that's not even a part of the process to say that this loan is official. None of that. And then you're spending time learning something that has no real value in what in helping you to get done what you're supposed to do. I'm not saying that the person should not be educated. What's going on, Corey? I'm not, and he's doing good. My man Corey, he's just started. He's doing real good. And I got your text. I've been busy, man. I hit you back up. So that's the thing. So we gotta just stay focused on the main thing, as Deion Sanders was saying, and many other highly motivated, successful people. They find out what it is they're supposed to do, how to be successful in it, and then they get to going in that. And all of the other bull jive that's out there, they ignore. One of our problems is that we spend a lot of time investigating the bull junk out there just to see if there's something in there. There's not necessarily something in there. You might as well just hang it up. Just it's rubbish. Jeez. Hold on 1 second, people. Hold on 1 second. Okay. All right. You may need to copy case if the yeah, clicking the link in the sorry about this, y'all. Text not working. Okay. All right. How are you? Interesting class. Hey, what's up, Cheryl? Good to see you there. Well, look at that hair. That's a nice hairdo. Nice hairdo. So yeah, that's the key thing. So once you understand what the main thing is, that's what we're going after. That's what we're going after. Oh, there she is. All right. So we're gonna bring our wonderful guest on. This is Miss Jane. She's going to talk about her experience as a notary. She's just getting started. Oh, restart. I can't. She'll tell you, but she's doing good. She's doing good. What's going on, young lady?
Hey, Griff, how are you?
Doing good. I can hear you fine.
Okay, good. Uh, you want me to just start talking, or you want me
Yeah,
to?
go ahead on. Talk to
No.
the people. Let them know who you are. Just take your time.
Oh, well, my name is Jane. I'm in Indianapolis, Indiana. I started um, just less than a year ago. My very first closing was August 10th of
Okay.
2024. And I just cracked 60 for the month of
Wow.
July. After getting several 50 somethings for several months in a row. So
Okay.
uh, focus mainly on loan closings. And I just, when you made a call for, people wanted to hear from somebody who may have just kind of more recently started. I'm
Yeah.
not as seasoned as yourself. I'm happy to share my experience. Um,
Okay.
but essentially, I just started just kind of hustling. I would go for some of the longer ones that were further out. I am full
Right.
time, so let me say that. I'm sorry. I am full time. Uh, and my very first closing back there on August 10th of 24 was a seller closing.
Okay.
That was maybe about 30 minutes away. Um, and I started with just a lot of small stuff. I just took everything that I could get. So I would
Okay.
do some time of the employment verifications. Um, any kind of deed signing or any of that type of stuff. I don't do too much of that stuff anymore. Um,
Gotcha.
but yeah, I don't.
So
I Go ahead.
let me ask you this. So
Sure.
you started off taking whatever you could get
Hmm.
and driving wherever it took you.
Hmm.
As you progress in this business, have you seen that you move, sort of somewhere along the line just naturally moved away from that because you're starting to see better opportunities? Is
Yeah,
that the case for you?
I mean, as I have been able to, you know, build I guess, my repertoire and
Hmm.
have more of an established relationships with some of these signing companies, then
Okay.
I guess I can be a little bit more discerning, right? So,
Right.
um, I'm now a little over 400. I think I'm at like, I don't know, 437 or something. So
Good.
between, like I said, August 10th of 24 was my very first closing to
Hmm.
now. And um, then I've done a little over 400. So I try and do. Um, I have not cracked 20 in a week yet.
Okay.
I think my most has been 17 or 18.
Gotcha.
Um, but you know, I just I look at every opportunity for closing as I also promote my business constantly.
Right.
Whether it be with I'm sitting there in front of
Hmm.
the clients where I'm closing,
Yeah.
I give them a card. On the back of my card says some of the other things that I might be able to assist them with. So I've
Correct.
had sometimes people that I closed a loan with who then call me back and I do some G&W work for them. Um, I also, when I close one on with a signing service, whether it be on signing order or SnapDocs or whatever. I happen to send something saying, "Hey, thank you for your business. I appreciate it." I also take pictures of all of my, when I send out for FedEx or UPS. So I
Right.
typically print two. That's just me. I typically print two of the label. I stick the label, when I go to FedEx at my local FedEx, they have the kiosk, so I can stick the receipt label on that. I'll take a picture
Okay.
of that, and I then send that back to the signing company so that they know that it's been sent. And then I
Gotcha.
just say, thank you for the business. Please let me know if you have any more that are in the area. I would, love to assist you. And and mark me prefer. Now I know you're not big on marketing stuff, but
I'm not.
that,
I'm
you
just
know,
not good at it. It's not that I'm
so,
not big on it. I'm just not. What I've learned is that
mhm,
everybody has the ability to market themselves in different ways.
right.
So the going into people, talking to them, that's never been my thing. To like,
Mhm,
hey, pick me. Because you got to have the right mindset and attitude when you're doing it. You can't be like, hey, pick me, but your eyes like, I don't really want to be here. And I
right.
don't know how to turn that off. So I figured out, so what I end up doing is just doing good work. And I've been blessed that other people have been referring me.
Right.
That's what has happened to me. Um, and then there's people who are really, really good at getting other people to refer them along with actually interacting with them. So that's why I tell people, I said, it as long as it's working for you, that's what matters. And as long
Right.
as it's helping you to get your bottom line, that's what's matters. So that's why I don't mess with marketing, because I don't honestly think that I'm the best person, when it comes to structured marketing.
Mhm,
I come up with little ideas here every now and then, but I just think that once you're confident in your ability, and that's what I'm thinking, one of the things I've learned from you is that you're confident in your ability to do your job as a notary. And
right.
because of that, it opens the door for you to be able to market and to push other services that you can do for people, because you know how to do your job as a notary, and you know you're not going to mess their stuff up, because you're sitting here trying to figure out, well, do I really need to notarize? How do I notarize? You're not doing that. You're like, I know what to do. I just need more of an opportunity to do it
Right.
and everything.
Well,
So
especially, I'm
I'll go
sorry, go
for it.
ahead. Well, when I was, especially when I was just starting out, my thing
Mhm.
is that, I have nothing to fall back on, right? I don't
Right.
have any type of reputation or established relationships with some of these companies.
Right.
So that was my goal, was to just try and, do good work, so I try to, I'm not going to say I'm error free, because I had an error today.
Hmm.
So I'm not, I don't push that error free, but I do, try and make sure that, I would say out of 10, I probably, maybe, I won't even say that. I'll say out of 20, maybe one
Right.
might come back. Um, I try to do good work. I turn my docs in on time. I don't miss drop
Hmm.
dates.
Yep.
I communicate with the signing service, um, you know, on the front end and the back end, hey, just called, whatever. I'll just, update the
Okay.
notes. You don't have to call them, but, just update the notes.
Yep.
Um, and, because that's the main thing, is that they want to just be informed. And then
Correct.
when I'm done, I make sure I get that completion report out. When I send in the completion report, I'm also
Yeah.
saying, hey, scan backs will be back within the hour or whatever. Now, one
Right.
thing I do that I know a lot of people don't do, I actually scan from the table, a lot
Hmm.
of times, a lot of
Gotcha.
times. And I take my scanner in, and people actually like. because I have no problem asking, hey, you have Wi-Fi in the house? They say, oh yeah, sure. Well, would you mind if I, take about 10 minutes so that I can scan this over so that they'll have your documents, as soon as possible, or with this being an evening closing so that they'll have those first thing in the morning because, we may or may not be able to get the documents out tonight, and so that they'll have
Right.
that ready for, and people think that that's, oh, that's so professional, or, oh, they're, whatever. I also, and I've learned a lot from you, Griff. So first of all, I want to thank you because especially in my early days,
Hmm.
I was watching your stuff like
I
and like
appreciate
taking
it.
notes, and I would take still shots, and I would maybe sometimes take a photo of stuff and on how to do stuff because I wanted to, uh, you know, I knew I needed to ramp up quickly.
Right.
And I wanted to be serious about it, and this is my business, and so I treat it like business. So I invested in myself. Now, Rev, I
Hmm.
I am an LSS student. I did do LSS, and I don't regret it. Um, but there's things that you can learn from that, and then there's things that you're going to have to, it's not going to do itself. So
Right.
whether you do whatever TMC that you do, if you don't work it, it's not going to work for you. So
Correct.
I, when I first started the business, I invested in equipment.
Hmm.
I have 3 printers. So I have
Okay.
a Brother 6210, I have a Brother 6310,
Mhm.
and then I have my printer. I keep a printer in the car
Gotcha.
because you can't, for me, if I'm out on the west side and I get pick one up and it's over
Okay.
on another side of town, and I don't have enough time to be able to come back home and print or whatever. For me, it only made sense for me to be able to have that
Right.
equipment with me. So I keep a
That
printer.
makes sense.
I think it's a HP. It's a HP 4001 DN or DW, something like that, that I keep in the car. I've printed many a package at a Starbucks, at a Panera,
Yeah.
at a McDonald's, whatever. You order a drink and keep it pushing. And so I've done that many a times. Like I said, I often scan from the table, probably
Hmm.
7, 8 times out of 10, because it's just easier that way. Then I don't have to sit up there and run home or run to a Starbucks or run to a wherever. And it's overdone with. Not to mention for me, and this is just my experience,
Hmm.
I'd rather know if it's requiring scan backs, I'd rather know sooner rather than later if
Right.
there's an issue. Right now, not all signing companies are equal. Some of them, they may not look at it for 2 hours. Some of them are pretty, a lot of them are pretty quick.
Yeah.
Um,
You're right.
so so if something's wrong, I'd rather know it when I'm 10 minutes from the house and just make a
Correct.
U-turn and turn around than to, I didn't scan for 2 hours and then I have to come back and the next day or whatever, and then now the
Right.
husband's over here and he's at work and the wife's over here,
Mhm.
and you got to chase each one of them down
Oh
and
yeah. No, that
all of that
happens.
type of craziness. So I'd rather
Right.
know. That was my reasoning for starting to do scans from the table. So
Gotcha.
I'm not saying that's what anybody else has to do. It's just it's worked for me. And
Right. You have to find a way to make it work. And that
well,
was the thing. I can't find a way to make it work because the biggest problem for me is that I'm doing like 5 and 6 in a day and they're real
right.
close on time.
Hmm.
And that makes it hard. That
Right.
makes it really, really hard for me. So what I end up doing, I will have my scanner turned on in the trunk of my car.
Hmm.
And what I'll do is so I can go ahead on and get going, I will sometimes put the papers in there, get it scanned, and then have it processed, uploading it to the portal and all that kind of stuff while I'm driving.
See,
Because
I'm not
when I
secure
used
enough to do that because my scanner gets a little iffy sometimes, and it'll start dragging more than one page, or it'll jam. So
uh
if I'm rolling down the highway or rolling down the road, and then all of a sudden I hear it's not feeding anymore, so I feel like I need to be there
right.
to sometimes kind of massage the scanner and help that to
Hmm.
go through.
Yeah.
But
And so far I haven't had that problem where it'll do everything will go through. All I gotta do is just don't make no hard turns.
Right, right.
But if I can get it going, once I get it going, it'll just I can hear it. Zzz, zzz, zzz. I'm like, all right, cool. And then I'll get somewhere, and then it'll be like, all right, now I can go back there. Now I'm using the Raven scanner, so the Raven scanner is a
Mhm.
little different.
Okay,
But I will then once it processes, then I hit the button and say, okay, upload it, and then I'm good to go.
okay.
And
I may have
and
to
then
look
I
into
keep
that.
going. Now the
I
Raven
have
scan,
an
they don't have that one
Epson.
anymore. They don't sell that
Oh,
one
okay.
anymore. Yeah,
I
that
think
one's
I have
big.
an Epson. I think it's a 580 EW or something
Yeah.
like that. Um,
So, but I end up going to the library, stuff like that. See, this
mhm,
is the beautiful thing about this business. I'm envious because in your area, the people are cool with you doing it. In my area,
not so
they be
much.
wanting me out as they be wanting me out. Like I did a loan application yesterday,
Mhm,
and I wanted to scan from the table. I'll be honest, I wanted to because I was like, okay, this is only like it was a larger loan pack, it was like 100 and some pages.
mhm.
But as soon as I finished, the wife was like, "Well, I got to go to this funeral thing." I was like,
Well, you
"So
have to
our
read the room, right? You have, I
right,
mean,
you have to read the
you
room."
gotta read the room. Like, so if they keep
Yeah,
looking at their watch and the kids are yelling over here, then I'm not gonna sit up there and try and go through all of that. Sometimes I bring my scanner in and then I make the decision, you know what, this is not the appropriate time. I'm just gonna roll this right back on out here. We're not even gonna try and set this up and get this going. So, I mean, you have to kind of,
yeah,
if they say I've got someplace to be and I got to leave and how much longer and all this type of stuff, then I'm just like, okay, well, then I'm just gonna have to
right.
do this from someplace else.
And some of the notaries around here, I tell them, I say, if you need, oh, sorry about that. That's a order coming in from Signature Closers.
You better jump on that.
Yeah, I'm trying to jump on it now.
That signature closes.
August 5th, 10 a.m. Oh no, I can't. No, that's way out there in the country.
Okay.
That's in the area like an hour and yeah, that's an hour away from me. Yeah, I can't. I mean, I could do it, but they're not gonna pay no extra money for me to do that. But one of the things that I've always suggested to the notaries that hey, if you really want to scan from the table, I tell them I say I suggest that you at least let the couple know before you get there ahead of time. So when you're confirming the order, you could
Mhm.
probably say something like, "Hey, how you doing? This is Stephen Griffin Notary. Just calling to confirm the appointment with you on Tuesday the 5th at 10:30 a.m. Couple of things. Just want to make you aware that they may, and I will say it from the standpoint may, they
Mhm.
may need me to scan immediately right after from the table. If you don't have a problem with me bringing my equipment in to do that, it'll be helpful, and then we can get that scan and on up there to them so they can get your loan funded.
Mhm.
That's how I would
Let me tell
present
you this,
it.
I don't do none of that ever.
I know, I know
I don't
you
do
don't. I
I
know you
don't
don't.
I'll put it this way. 8 times out of 10, 7 times out of 10, I don't even talk to the people before I get to the front door. I I I'm just saying what works for me.
Yeah.
I'm just saying what works. I send a text. I send a text. I start with a text. I don't start with no call. I start with the text, and I'll
Hmm.
even read the text. Hold on, where's my thing? I'll even read the text. I don't have a problem with that. Putting it out to the people. I'll say like, "Hi, Mike. My name is Jane. I'm the notary." Now I do say loan signing agent, but let me say this:
Yeah.
I am in the one of two states in the country
Yep.
where we have a TPL, where I have to have a
Hmm.
title producer's license,
Correct.
and but we are called loan signing agents.
98. And that makes
So let me
sense.
say this, because I know you have a loan signing agent thing. So we are called. In the state. I don't. For those who don't know, in the state of Indiana, and I believe it's Maryland. Is that right?
Maryland and Indiana. Yep.
Maryland and Indiana. In order for you to do real estate closings, you have to have a title producer, or in Indiana, it's called a title producer license. I don't know what it's called in Maryland, but
Same thing.
um,
Yeah. Typical
is it
title producer, insurance license, or typical something like that.
okay?
Typical. But yeah.
Yes. So I have to be not only have my notary commission, but I also have to have my TPL, which is from the insurance commissioner for the state.
Gotcha.
So I I just put that out there because so I actually I guess am, and it's on my card actually. I'm a notary signing agent. Um,
No, oh no, that's
but yeah,
perfect.
I start with the text. So I just say like, "Hi, Mike. My name is Jane. I'm the notary loan signing agent that's been assigned to do your closing on, Thursday, whatever the date is,
Right,
at
and
10
whatever
a.m.
time and all of that.
for the time, for the title slash mortgage company. I just wanted to introduce myself. I'll call you shortly to confirm the appointment, or feel free to contact me at your convenience. And I give my number, or you can confirm by responding to this text. Let me say this. Uh, I'd say 6 to 7 out of 10 respond to me by text.
Yeah.
I don't have to call them. They'll be like, "Yep, Thursday at 10 is fine. I'll see you then." I'll be like, "Okay, great. Make sure that you have
Mhm.
two government issued IDs, blah, 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 blah." And we never speak until I hit the front door. So I
Excellent.
don't have time uh, to even go through, "Hey, I'm gonna bring my scanner, blah, 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 blah." I just bring my scanner.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
And
And that's
I'm just saying that works for me.
right,
That's
and
all I'm
see,
gonna say.
that's what I'm trying to get people to understand is if you get out here and do and work the business, you'll figure out what
Right,
works for you in your area. So,
right,
like
right.
for me, since I'm always in the car, I have to call because it's hard, trying to text and all of that. So it's easier for me to call. I call. Boom.
It's on an app, and I just cut and paste
Mhm.
and input, insert name, insert date, insert time. I don't text all of that.
I know.
I'm smart.
I have now. I know you have this stuff all saved and the spiel and all of that and everything. So, but that's the beauty. That's why I wanted somebody to come on because I want people to see the variation and they want to know what's the name of the app that you're using.
Oh,
Are you just using your regular
this
text
is
message
just a
app
note.
or
It's just a notes app. So I just write stuff in myself. I have one for the initial contact. I have one for second attempt to
Mhm.
confirm. I have one if it's a TBD, right?
Gotcha.
Because you have to set up a date and time.
Right. In
So
time.
I just wrote out something. It's no special app. Actually, this
Oh, okay. So you're
particular
just
app,
using the normal notes app
it's
that's
a
on your
normal notes
phone.
app. Now, this particular one is called Color Note that I happen to use.
Gotcha.
But I mean, you could use any notes app or whatever. And like I said, I just make for scenario A, B, C, and D. Cut and paste, insert name,
Yeah.
insert time, blah blah blah, and keep it pushing. And I'll do that. I might be sitting outside of one house that I just came out of, and I got to order, and I'll sit there and do that. Or while I'm
Mhm.
at, I mean, I have to admit, I do it if I'm at a stoplight.
Yeah. I mean,
Or
you
I
do
try not
what
to
you
text
do
and drive,
safely. We
but if I'm not
safely.
driving, if I'm at the light,
Yeah. Yeah. We
then
safely do. And see that. But here's the thing. This is what I want people to understand.
mhm,
You're focused on setting yourself up in the right position so you can be
mhm,
successful with this business and
mhm,
take advantage of the opportunities that come.
right,
You're not, you want the money, you want more money, you want the higher fees, but
mhm,
you said, okay, I need to get started.
right,
I need to get out there and because the companies don't care what you got paid by somebody else. They just want to know, do you have experience?
right,
So after 5 or 6 months, so here it is, you've been in here almost a year. Just imagine if you said, well, the first 3 to 4 months, I'm not really going to mess with anything unless I see it at a particular dollar amount and it's at a specific distance. You would not be where you're at now because you will be sitting on the sideline. And too many people are sitting off to the sideline. Now, like you say, like I don't have anything. So I think that's where we connect because you're saying you're doing this full time. You're
mhm,
not leaning on some other whatever. You're like, okay, I got to make this work. And
right.
people
I mean,
who
I do inspections, and I mean, basically,
right, same
I
here.
do inspections and some other things, but for this is my full time gig. This is my business, and this is what I
Right.
do.
But you
But
yeah, but I don't think you're sitting on 50 rental properties.
I do have one, but
Right. You got
but
one.
yeah,
Right.
yeah,
And there's nothing wrong with that.
yeah.
I've been trying to get one too myself. But what I'm saying is you don't have like, this family money or stipend that you're getting and stuff. It's like, okay, I got to do this here.
Yeah.
I got to make this work. And it's nothing wrong with having options, but sometimes options make us lazy. And there's people, even with one of the channel members, they got other options, but the thing is, the beauty, they're not lazy. They're out here grinding.
Right.
But I tend to see people, they get, well, I got this, and I can always get a job, and I can always do this, and I got my mom and them, and I got my cousin them, So you're like, well, I ain't gonna take that, I ain't gonna take that. But every time you don't take something to build your own muscle memory in this business, you're hurting yourself. And then when the opportunities come and you do get flooded with something, it's like most people can't handle it. So you set up, got your printers, got your scanner.
Day one. Like even before I had ever even signed up to a signing service or whatever, day one. Now I didn't get 3 printers like off day one,
but
I went ahead. I
the
ordered
basic equipment
the
that you needed.
6210. I got that. I went ahead and ordered the second, because I set myself up. I was in my mindset, I'm setting myself up of I have to do this, and I have to be serious about it. And if I work at small time, then you're going to receive it, to, I guess, reap on a small time level. So I recognize, not everybody has funds for some of these, but I invested in myself. I invested in myself. And so I did that from day one. I ordered printer, ordered scanner. I ordered 2 cases of paper, like like you mentioned all the time, in order for you just got to, instead of getting ready, you just need to always be ready. And so
that's
how I looked at it.
If y'all have not figured out that the key to success, whether you're a man, whether you're a woman, whether you're young, whether you're old, irregardless of your race, is that you have to be ready for success, even when it doesn't seem like you're being successful, even when it doesn't seem like the calls and the opportunities are going to be there. You still got to be ready.
Right.
It's just that simple. And every person that I know that goes out and puts forth the effort to be ready, they're the ones who are really succeeding in this business.
Right.
They're not sitting around waiting. See, if you're a notary and you're like, well, I'm still just running to the Office Max to print, I'm still using them to scan, you're not ready for an influx. Because let's just say you are a good notary and you know what to do and how to do it. The way these companies are, if they see that, they find a diamond in the rough, they feel that you are the person that they can be confident in and trust, they're going to start sending you more opportunities. Here you are bootlegging it, no printer, no scanner. You still borrowing pens, all of that stuff. You don't have none of the equipment that you really, really, really need. That becomes a problem. And they're going to quickly find out that you're not ready for the big leagues. Right. You can't handle the opportunities that they're giving you. You wanted the opportunities, but you're not prepared. You don't have everything. You got janky toner. Now, I know some people use the off-brand toner. Use whatever doesn't embarrass you. Right. That's how I'm going to say it. Because I had the off-brand toner, and it embarrassed the heck out of me. So I don't use the off-brand toner anymore. But there's other people, wherever they get it from, it works. As long as it doesn't embarrass you, use it. It's that simple. Right. If you want to pay $2 for toner or $200, I don't care. The main thing is, as long as when you print, it don't have spots, it doesn't have lines and this, that, and it doesn't embarrass you. Right. Same thing with your scanner. Like my Raven scanner, if I have it on, I think, gray scale, for some reason a line shows up in there. I have to keep it on black and white, or you just see the black and white. So it's like, okay, I have to remember that. I gotta remember that. Don't put it on grayscale, because the grayscale actually looks better, but it has this thin line every single time I scan. I'm like, can't use that. So it's little things such as that. So that's what makes me proud to be, a notary friend with you, because I see
Mentor,
you.
you can use the word, you mentor.
Yes, ma'am.
I'll give
Because
you your
you
props.
mentor, because you are out here. See, it doesn't matter. Here's my thing. What do you do? LSS, Notary Stars, or any of them. Here's the thing. You have to have discernment to see how far they can take you. You have to be able to see that, okay, that person is only teaching me out of their experience.
Mhm.
Griff is teaching you out of his experience. So their experience is on the marketing side and getting the business. Griff's experience is on actually getting out here and doing the business. So, and grinding and doing that. Because for some people, your path to success is going to have to be a grind. And
Mhm.
you're going to have to know how to deal with the stuff like I talked about yesterday, dealing with difficult clients and things of that nature. For
Right.
somebody who's not out there doing the closings and dealing with them, that's different. If they're only doing title work, if they're only doing builders, the home builder stuff, that's a little different than you're out here doing HELOCs and home and reverse mortgages and stuff. It's a
Mhm.
different thing. So I'm trying to bring in the other aspect that a lot of the other TMCs aren't involved with anymore. So you're getting one side, and my goal has always been to try to show everybody both sides. And I do it, yes, in a pushy, extravagant way sometimes. But what I'm trying to do is to get us to say, okay, let me think for myself.
Mhm.
I hear the fanfare because not everybody can afford training.
Exactly, I understand.
Right.
Or
So
no, not everyone can afford to buy all of their stuff up front, and so I
up
totally
front.
get that. But if it, and with that being said, because I think I read somebody's stuff, as far as on the comments, as far as you can't. Then if not, then invest in one thing, right? Take it, and you can buy it. I mean, there's no shame in it. Look, if people can put something on Klarna or Affirm or what
Mhm.
have you, put some DoorDash or something, then invest in yourself, right? Buy you a good
Yep.
printer. Let's start there, right? Buy
Yeah.
you a good printer, four easy payments. Make sure you make them payments, because if you don't make
Make it
those payments, they're throwing it on your credit. But make or whatever. Start there. Start with what you can do.
correct.
Nobody's saying that you have to have a printer in the car and two printers at the whatever, and all of that stuff right off the bat, you know, and, so I get that, I get that, not, that's not something that everyone can do. But if you're serious about the business, and if you're going, if this is going to be what you're wanting to do, then start with the necessities. So like the
Correct.
necessities is, in order for you to do loan signings, let's just start, of
Mhm.
course, you're going to have to print.
Right. I
So,
mean, it's no different than you moving into an apartment. Okay, let
right.
me see what the necessities are. I may not have the $10,000 couch. I may not have the marble leg dining room table, but look,
Right.
I got my pots, I got my pans, I got my utensils, I got paper, either paper or plastic plates or something. I'm able to at least feed myself. I'm able to clean up behind myself, so forth, so on. And I'm not worried about all the fancy stuff.
Right.
And see, you have to be strong to be able to do that. And see, this is what I find amazing is that so many people, and I don't hear it as much talking about business credit,
Mm.
but so many people hopped out there and got business credit, but never bought anything for their business. They never bought the stuff that they needed for their business. And then when the opportunity came for them to start doing these orders, they didn't have what they needed. It's almost like that Bible story about the parable of the 10 virgins. I think you had the five wise ones and the five foolish, and
Mm.
the foolish ones was like, "Hey, give me your oil," and they were like, "If we give you, they had full thing of oil, and then the other ones, their oil wasn't as full, and they were like, no, you need a full thing to go on this trip." Well, they said, "Well, give us some of yours," and then, well, if we give you ours, then we all can't. None of us gonna make it.
Right.
I, I can't save you. And that's what I'm trying to get notaries to understand, that you have the ability to use critical thinking and to determine when you need to do stuff. So if you can't afford these so-called trainings out here, But if you can get the equipment and understand how to do proper notarizations, you can start making money so that you
Exactly.
can afford the trainings. What I
Exactly.
see is people, they spend a little too much money on buying shirts with logos, websites, getting pins
I
with
call
their
that getting
name.
ready to get ready. And at
Right,
some point in time, you have to or get off of it, right?
right.
You have to just go ahead and get started. So the shirts and the pins and all of that type of stuff, it is cool. And when you get to a certain point, that's good, great, and wonderful. But at the beginning, you have to just go ahead and just get it started. I mean, my first, 2 months, I was signing up for a new signing service, or whatever, you know, darn near every day. It would be Prentice and I talk about this, it's like, okay, and this is where it comes in where I would watch some of your videos, Griff, and I would see you talk about it. And then when you show your accounting, right? And when you go to your accounting page or your
Mhm.
company's page, sorry, not your accounting page, your company's page, right? For on SnapDocs. And I would screenshot that, right? I would screenshot that and I'd be like, okay, well, look at what these companies are that are his top companies. I
Mhm.
literally have a spreadsheet. I then
Yeah.
had a spreadsheet. I was like, these are I need to be signed up with these companies, right? These companies grip for using and they pay. I ain't stupid. My thing is I don't need to reinvent the wheel. I just need to, you know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
I I screenshotted that. I then, took these companies and then said, okay, sign. And some of them, you may not ever hear from. And then some of them you might. And so I went ahead and signed up for as many of those. Now I'll say I get most of my stuff off of signing order. Now SnapDocs is still kind of slow to me. I think I've
Mhm.
only maybe done maybe 30, 25, 30
Sorry about that.
um, signature closers, but it took me a minute to get in with signature closers.
Yep,
But
same here.
now that I'm in with signature closers, like, I'm typically picking up sometimes one or two a day. Um, and then I just got my first couple direct clients. I just got my first check from a direct client. So I was like, hey.
Yeah.
So that was and that was kind of completely unexpected. And I'll put this out there to folks in regards to if you do good work, right? I happened to be at a closing for some, that I just picked up on, one of the signing, one of the thing I think on signing order. I happened to be at a closing. This gentleman said, "Hey, I am a loan officer with XYZ company." And I'm not gonna put it out there, but XYZ company,
Mhm.
and he's a VP. And he said, I really like, he said, I thought you were very professional. I thought that
Yep.
you were, you did things. Now I do bullet point things. I know, I
Mhm.
bullet point when I go through stuff. So,
No problem.
but part of that, my background, Griff, is, if people don't know, is I was in real estate for 25 years. So I, I was selling homes and then I did new home sales
Okay.
for like 8, 9 years or whatever.
Right.
So I'm familiar with real estate terminology and things like that. I don't explain, I may
Mhm.
summarize.
Right.
They start getting into specifics. I'll be like, I'll be happy to, stop here if you want to give a call to your loan officer or the title company, blah, blah, blah. But a lot of it, I just kind of just read through the page a little bit, not read it, but bullet
Mhm.
point. I read the title, you know on the note, like for instance, on the note, bullet points. Okay, your loan amount is at this $200,000. Your interest rate is this. I'm just literally reading off the page. Your interest rate is this.
Mhm.
Your first payment is going to be this. It'll say whatever the date is, September 1st or whatever it might be. And your principal and interest only payment is this. Then they seem to be okay with that. We then move forward. I also, one thing I got from you, I don't know what video it is because there's thousands, is the paperclip method.
Yeah.
Uh, I don't even know if you realize that you do it, but all I know is I was watching a video and I was like, "Psh, that's what I need to do." So when there are, we don't need to be touching every single piece of paper.
Right.
Right? I
Mhm.
clip together, so if I come to the note, the mortgage is sometimes what? Like, sometimes 20 pages,
Yep.
right? So, you're looking at the first page, you may, bullet point a couple of items, and then I have paper clipped that in advance with my prep. Yep.
Mhm.
I also you had also done one where you do it on top if it's one thing and do it on the side if it's another.
Right.
So
So
I
what I
do
do
that.
is, so if there's a signature page,
Mhm,
I put it on top.
mhm,
And then I tell them, I said, signature page is on top, and the signature page is for everything that's paperclip. For if there's like those long, like all of those instructional pages that neither one of us need to sign, I take those instructional pages and I paperclip it on the
on the
side.
side. Yep,
That lets me
yep.
know
I don't need
I
to
just
touch
flip,
those.
I just flip that over.
Yep.
Now, if I notice them, like you said, read the room, and they're like, "What is that?" I say, "Oh, these are pages that's for them, and there's nothing for you to sign or for me to sign." I say, "Now, if you want to read it, you have every right to read it, but
Mhm,
these are just instructional pages." Dot dot dot, and they're like, "Oh, okay." And then I tell them, I said, "So if you see me with," I said, "if you see a paperclip on the side, that means there's nothing for you to sign there,
mhm,
but you are free to read it if you want." And they're like, "Oh, okay. I just want to make sure. I didn't want to miss anything. Not a problem." And then we just keep going. Most people
mhm. Keep it
don't even
pushing.
say anything, but it's just being neat. And the only thing I do is just so for to keep the pages level, like I might, paperclip a few here, then here, just so it can lay flat. Because if you put too many paper clips on one side, your papers got that
Mhm,
little heel to it. And then I just like this. This is your alter statement. Boom. You say whatever you want to say about it, and they're good to go. Some people will still take the paper clip off, read through it, and the main
mhm,
thing you have to do with the paper clip is keep an eye on it in case they got kids, because you don't want your paper clips all on the floor.
mhm,
And that happened one time. The person took the paper clip off, and somehow they threw it on the floor. So at the end, I went and picked off. It was like three of them. I picked them up off the floor because I don't
mhm.
want the kids, having a throat problem with the daggone thing, and then next thing you know, it'll be like
Right,
locking me up and
right, right.
stuff. But I like that you're doing. See, you're taking information from multiple sources, and then you are sifting it and saying, okay, here's how I need to make it work for me and everything. Yep, my man Joe Haskett.
I was gonna
Yep,
say, hey Joe.
that's my man there.
Joe and I met each other at the Joe is also indie repping. Joe and I met at FedEx one day, and he has thrown some of his stuff when he goes out of town. He's asked me to cover for him a couple of times, and I
Yep.
definitely because I don't do as much G&W. I try and Joe is my first call if I've got somebody. I'm like, hey, I can't get on. So hey, Joe. Um,
Yep. Yeah, Joe's my man. That's my
yeah.
man. Matter of fact, me and him was talking today and stuff. So yeah, so that's my man.
And I would say this. I mean, I would just say, with everybody as far as, actually, I'm specifically talking loan closings because that's mostly what I do.
Hmm.
Is, like I said, just start small, do a little bit each day. There's Joe and his branded car.
Yep. That's our man Joe.
There's Joe. And
That's my man.
but just do what you can. Like I said, just start signing up for as many signing services that you can. Start, and then just like like Griff was saying, do great work. And then just get out here and then just hustle. Um, and that's what I do. I mean, I think the most I've done in a day is 7. I don't like that, Joe. I mean, I don't like that, Griff. I know that you sometimes a regular day for you. I think 5 is like my limit. It's just a lot of running around and a lot of printing and a lot of it's just I don't like stress. I try to remain as
It
stress
ain't
free as I
stressful.
can.
It ain't stressful. The only thing that's stressful for me is when some of the companies are purposefully holding on to the documents
Oh,
for
mm,
for this so-called 2 hour. Well, we'll release them at least 2 hours before. So what I've
mm-mm,
had to do sometimes is I tell them, I said, look, I got 5 signings today.
right.
Your signing is 15 minutes from, let's just say I got a 5 o'clock signing. my 3 o'clock signing is 15 minutes from this. It would be best if I could get the documents early so I can print and go and be on time. And I've had to be articulate like this
Right.
because during that time it's rush hour.
Right.
And I'm going to be late. And I say that not may be late. I tell them, I say, I'm just letting you know I'm going to be late because I'm located on this street. Your people is located on that street, so they could pray because sometimes they might go and want to take a look. So I'm on this street. Don't give them the direct address, but I'm on this street in Chesapeake, and your guy is on this street in Chesapeake, 15 minutes away. Look at where my house is. It'll be best if you can get me the documents. Now, if you don't, I understand, but I'm just giving y'all heads up. And majority of the time, probably 80% of the time, the documents all of a sudden pops up.
Right.
Because sometimes they'll have them, but what they're waiting for, y'all, and just so y'all can understand, they're concerned that you print the documents for your 5 o'clock at 2 o'clock, and then there's a change, and then now you're crying that you want a print fee.
I just had that yesterday. Well, not for a print fee, not for the whole package, but I had a 3 o'clock. I also had a 4:30, and I had a couple more that were earlier in the morning. I started at 8, and so then they call me literally as I'm headed out to the 3 o'clock and say they don't have the CD and the Alta, and can I push it back? I'm like, no. I can't. You are not my only appointment today. So then they said, well, is there anything that we can do? Because it doesn't look like it's going to be ready for a while. So I said, okay, look, when I talked to the 4:30 folks, I had known that they had some flexibility because they're retired. So I said, well, let me see if I can push that up. Right. So I then called them and said, hey, would it be okay if I come like an hour early? And they're like, yeah, come on. So I went to them, got out of that. They still didn't have the CD and the Alta. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. I'm now headed to this appointment that we've pushed back 2 hours.
Yeah.
And, and let me say this, because I have a printer in the car, because they had no printer at the house. We were able to go ahead and get that done. But, so that's where, sometimes having some of the equipment and being able to do it. Now, it's a pain. Don't get me wrong. I don't like having to sit up there and pull the printer out. I got to pull the printer out. It's in one of those collapsible box things, and, I got to wheel it in and plug it up and, get my computer out. That's a whole lot. It's a whole lot of a whole lot. But at least I was able to do it so that we can go ahead and get that done. Because otherwise, we're going to have to reschedule. Now I may or may not be available when we reschedule. So that may be money that went to somebody else, and maybe I only get a print fee. And so you have to be able to be flexible, like you're always saying. You have to be able to be flexible in order to kind of make those moves. In order to do that.
Yeah. And let me go to Cheryl, because Cheryl had a question here. Where's Cheryl at? So Cheryl said, for people who can't get it ready, I guess by buying all the products in me, what do you suggest? Basically, and Jane sort of said it's just get what you can. Here's what I've done. I have no problem doing this. I've actually, if there's a new notary and I can see that they're for real, I'd be like, you can print over here. You can just come on over and you can print. I let them log in and print. If you got a laptop, you can bring it, connect to my Wi-Fi, and you can print. Because I would rather do that, because me and a friend of mine named Erica, we do that for each other. So like if something comes up and she's like, Griff, I ain't got no toner. Okay, here you go. And then she'll give it back to me later. A new one back. Print, whatever. We do that for each other. So that's one thing. If you can just hook your notary buddy up, find a way to just get a printer or whatever the case may be, so you can at least print the documents to the best of your ability on some type of laser, not dot matrix and all that inkjet. That ain't gonna work. And just get what you can and be a minimalist. Just get the bare minimum of what you need. If you don't have the money to get the G2 pens, then I got a pack of regular ballpoint pens. As long as it's good and dark blue, don't be careful that it's not purple looking. People be wanting to buy these pens and then the ink is purple. But you find a way to get what you need, and you just sort of strategize and keep what these other people say out of your head, because if you start trying to compare your business to other people's business,
Right.
start to compare your equipment to what they have, it can be a problem for you, especially when you know you don't have the ability to get it at the moment, but you can get something.
Right.
So even if you have to borrow a printer or whatever, even if you have to do like, hey, I'll bring the paper and every other month I'll buy you a new toner because I need to print. And if that person is cool with that, then now the only problem you probably have is if they start seeing this other notary see you doing like they're doing only 10 a month and you doing 25, 30, and get jealous at you and be like, I'm gonna have to shut that down. You can't use my stuff no more.
Right.
And everything, and all of that.
But
So,
we all have to start somewhere. So I
right,
mean,
you
you
have
know,
to
you do
start
what
somewhere.
you don't have to have like I said, you don't have to have everything. You just have what it is that you can do and start there. But for me, if I was on, shoestring budget, the first thing is a printer. And it doesn't have to be the big, like what Griff has behind him. It doesn't have to be all of that.
Yeah,
If you get a printer like my HP, although I have to say with HP, you typically have to kind of get HP toners,
owner.
and they are
Yeah,
not cheap. So
yeah,
my HP, which is what I have in the car, um, is it's just a single, like, little box printer or what have you. It doesn't hold. I mean, it doesn't hold as much as what you have over there, as far as the tray, but it has the flip down tray. So then that's your second tray.
right.
You know how on some of these signing services, when they ask you, do you have a dual tray printer? Yes, you do.
Yeah,
That sucker flips down. That is your second tray. You have a dual tray printer. You can check that box, right? And so it doesn't have to be all of that Griff has over there, you know, in order for you to be able to say that you qualify for some of this stuff.
yeah,
And you just baby steps, right? You just baby steps towards what it is that you can do and go
that's
from
it.
there.
That's all I did. I just took baby steps. I had one printer, and I found that having a tray was more efficient because I was planning ahead.
Mhm.
So I was like, okay, I knew about the notary rotary thing, the page splitter, and all of that, but with my schedule, I was like, I don't have time to try to reorganize the stuff back together. And
Mhm.
I said, if I'm doing 4 or 5 a day, I need the stuff to just be printed in order. Now, if I'm like you said, if you're in the car, okay, cool. And see, things have been fortunate for me that either I get all the documents up front.
Mhm.
So when I went and did my 60 yesterday, I had
Mhm.
all 6 sets.
Mhm.
Or I end up like being able to come back home and print. So it's not been a issue with me to come back home and print. So I'm like, all right, cool. So I'm gonna do it now. If I need to, then I will. But so far, I haven't had that problem doing it. But it's just I said, let me get 2 trays. I'm gonna be more efficient. Then I got a second printer. And at one time, I had 4 printers, 2 that I was actively using, and then 2 that was sitting in the closet waiting for them to
Right.
die. And these are the 2 that was in the closet. And then I got another one sitting right over here that I just picked up just in case one of them go out.
Mhm.
I already got myself backed up. I just take the top off and then just stick that on top of them 3 trays, on those 2 trays, and I'm good to go. So it's
Right.
just about planning and investing the time and money so you can be ready to rock and roll. That's
Exactly.
all this is, and that's why I have to commend you and give you your flowers right now, Jane, because you're doing what I believe everybody should do. You, Caprentice, and many others are actually out here doing it. You've gotten prepared, you got the equipment, and you're ready to rock and roll. And then the most important thing, you know your schedule. So if an order comes in, you already know for the most part, probably to the 10th at 5 o'clock. Okay, yeah, you know whether or not you can do that. You ain't got to go try to research it. So if the
Right.
order comes in, it's for $200. You just know I can just hit the button. I'm
Well,
good
I'll
to
share
go.
this with the people. I mean, I use I use Google Calendar, but I also link it to, I use a calendar called A Calendar. It's just A and then calendar all together. And then I have my Google Calendar, because I also have another other Google Calendar, so it kind of pulls everything together. But I have and so I just here, I'll just like this. I don't know if y'all can see. How you make it so that you can actually see? I don't know how that works.
Is this
But
it right here?
yeah, and but so I have that, pretty much up on one of my windows all the time, so that as I get an order in, and I keep it on the week, right? I keep it
Right.
on the week, so that if an order comes in, it's like, okay, that's Thursday at 5. I just look over, okay, I don't have anything Thursday at 5. Boom, and then I can push, accept or
Right.
whatever to see if I get it, because I don't have time to, sometimes you have seconds in
Right.
order to accept something. And
Mm-hmm.
so for me, that's what works for me, as far as that. And then as far as um, software, I'm a Notary Gadget girl, not because of the colors, because I saw your thing the other day. Ladies like it because of the color. I'm like, what are you talking about?
I'm telling
Because of
you,
the color.
no,
Because of the
because when I
colors.
first started, that's
That's
what they
like
was
saying when
telling
you go to
me.
the car lot, like you just look up, you find one that looks pretty, but don't worry
I'm
about what's under the
telling
hood.
you,
Come on now.
that's what they told me. That's what I knew I was gonna get in trouble. I knew I was gonna get in trouble saying, but that's what they told me because they was like, well, I like the color. I said, what colors? Because I didn't have Notary Gadget, and I went in there. I was like, okay, yeah, those are some cool. I was like, yeah. I said,
Well, I
okay, I
use
get
Notary
it.
Gadget, and the nice thing about Notary Gadget for those who are just starting out, and I don't know how it is with Notary Assist because I've never done a Notary Assist, so that's why I'm speaking only to Notary
Yeah.
Gadget, is that I believe you get 15 free, so you can sign up, not spend a dime, and
Mm-hmm.
your first 15 closings are free. So you put in closing number one, whether it's GNW, whether it's a loan closing or whatever, and then it'll help you to track what you have. And I'm a numbers person. I need to see my stuff. Prentice knows, we talk about it. I need to be able to track my stuff, right? So for me, that makes it simple. If people are wanting to know numbers, like for instance, I did 61 last month for the month of July of 25. And my average was, hold on, I pulled it last month. My average was 86.69 per.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So I'm not putting my numbers and stuff out there, but y'all can figure
Mm-hmm.
out 61 times 86.69. All right. There's some, I said my highest for the month. I got $250 for one closing. That
Mm-hmm.
was about an hour and a half away on July 3rd. So that was the day before the holiday. I didn't get home till 10 o'clock at night, but I got
Yeah.
$250 for it. So how far will you go?
Yeah.
$250.
Same
So
here.
that was
I'm
my
telling you that
highest.
that stuff helped
Yeah,
me out. Yeah, I had a
yeah,
couple of orders like that last month.
yeah.
At the end of last month, the beginning of July and the end of June, where it was like 250, 225, all of that, because and there was a good little drive out there. Now those are with my and I actually had a signing company pay me 200 to go do an order that was out there. And I
Well,
told
this
them, I said,
was
hey,
Signature Excel, which I was surprised, and they try to get me down. I was like, I'm not playing with
yeah,
you. I don't need to go out
yeah,
here to Potoke, Indiana on the day before a holiday, so you either gonna pay me or we're not gonna do this. And they came
right.
up with money. So
Hmm.
but with that being said, I don't want to try and sit up there because also do a lot where I do $65 seller closings, you
Yeah.
know, $65, $70 seller closings. I don't too much get into the $50. That's, I'll do that for a deed, like a couple,
Yeah,
couple
for
pages.
D, yeah, D, yeah, I
But
do. Yeah, we have $50 HELOCs here, which don't
yeah,
take that long to do. So I get in and get out and
yeah.
stuff.
So I'll do that. So I mean, I don't want people to think that, oh, you have to get these 250, that was $250. I had, I've had a couple of 150, some reverse mortgages. I did a
Mhm.
SBA, that was 317 pages. So I had to print that times two.
Yep.
Um, and I think it was, I don't know, 54 something notarizations. It was a lot. It was a lot. Um, so that something like that might be $200, but most of my stuff is just regular, $75, refi, maybe
Mhm.
$85 refi, occasionally you get $100 such and such. So it's not like it's you're getting a whole, let me, actually I could count like one, two, I must, like you, Griff, I must say how many I got that were three
Mhm.
digits. All right, so one, two out of those 60, three, four, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So out of 61, I had 12 that were three digits.
Yeah. And see, so hold up. So you said out of 61.
Out of 61.
So 12 is what percent? So 12 is 19% of 61.
Right.
So you're talking about essentially 20% of the orders that you're getting at that is $100 or more.
Correct.
And as I always tell people, I said, so now the question is that 12% equivalent to the dollar amount that you need to take care of yourself? If it is, then go for it. If it's
12%,
not,
19%.
19,
No,
that's what I meant to say, the 12 order. If that 19%
no, no,
is the
no.
equivalent, then
Mm-mm.
you use it. But it's not. For most people, it's not. The night, if you consistently know that I can get 19 orders a month at $100 or more, will those 19 orders be the equivalent of what you need to pay your bills? I mean, those 12 orders to pay
Right.
your bills. If it is, then great. If it's not, then you got to do something else. So for me, it was like, okay, let me take these other orders, and see a lot of people, and like my man Notary just talk about lowball. One of the things that y'all have to understand, the word lowball, the historical definition of that means if I have this water and you know that I sell it for $3,
Mm-hmm.
and then you come to me and say, well, Griff, I'm gonna give you 50 cents for it. That's a low
Mm-hmm.
ball offer because it's a known, it's already established that this is for $3.
Right.
Now, can you discount it? See, there's a difference between discount and lowball. If I discount
Mm-hmm.
and say, well, you say, well, I don't have $3, like the scene where Chris Rock was talking about, well, can I just get one chicken wing for 50
Get
cents?
one rib, right?
So he wasn't trying to get all of it. He
Right,
was like,
right,
let's discount. Can I just get a wing?
right, right.
Can I get one wing for 50 cents? He wasn't saying give me the whole 50 for 50 cents. And I get what people are saying. Well, that's a low ball offer. I get a little analytical. If you understand the definition and term, that means it's established. So then the question becomes, when has it been established
Mm-hmm.
notary should get paid 150?
Mm-hmm.
Because to say that the offer is lowball based off its true definition, that means it's an established, we have established that it is known in the industry that notary should be paid this.
Mm-hmm.
See, it's different. Like with a real estate agent, y'all have those, I think, what, 3% commissions. Y'all have the 6%, and then y'all split it.
Mm-hmm.
And now somebody comes and say, well, instead of you splitting 6, we're gonna have to split 1%. Well, that's the low ball off because we know it's typically 6%. But for us, we don't. Each company is different, so we don't know what the actual true fee should be.
Mm-hmm.
What's the standard fee for a notary to go do the work? We don't know because you can have 200 pages, it can have 15 pages. I
Right.
did something for $150 and it was only 12 pages.
Right.
So that's why I'm like, I can't sit here and get caught up into all of that.
I mean, it
Everything.
all comes out in the wash, right? I mean, it'll level out. Like you said, for every one
Right.
of those that you have, $150 for 12 pages, you may then have to go and do 250 pages for $75 or $85, So, it all comes out in the wash. So, but
All
I
right.
don't,
Well, I'm gonna let you go, young lady.
yes, sir.
Thank you for your time.
No problem at all. I hope I
I
was
I
able to be
I
helpful to
know
some.
I know people have learned a great deal from you. And now they know that Griff ain't talking out the side of his neck when he say just get out there and grind and hustle and do what you need to do that's best for you where you're at so you can make the money to take care of yourself. And I greatly appreciate you taking time out to share. Really, really appreciate it.
No problem at all.
All right. You have a good one, lady.
Thank you, Griff.
Yep. What are you fussing about now? I was my car. I get it. And that's what I'm saying. Yeah, you in New York, this, that, and the other. The bottom line is, I always say set a goal. What's your dollar amount that you're trying to make per week, per month, per day? And if your goal is to make $300 in a day, and $300 in a day, and somebody offers you $475 closings, what's wrong with it? That'll give you the $300. So is it that you want $300 based off of two 150s, three 100s, or 475s? That's what you have to decide. How do you want to make your money? Now, if you want to make it off of two 150s, then what you do is say, where can I get the 150s? And can I get them again tomorrow? And the next day, and the next day. And if you can, then cool. If you can't, then what are you going to do? And at that point, most people, I'm telling you, a lot of folk who say no to it, like my man Oswald, they may have other things established already financially for them. Now, I don't know what his financial situation is at all, but I'm just talking about in general. They got a spouse that's working, they working some stuff, they got real estate, they got stocks, they got Forex, they got other things, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's nothing wrong with that at all. But for the people who don't have that, you got to do what you got to do. That's the thing. You got to do what you need to do. And I'm not out here trying to keep up with the Joneses, the Phillips, the Raekwons, or anybody else. I realize what I need to do for me and my family, and I go do it. Now, it may look like $75 orders from time to time, and then somebody else do what they need to do. It might look like $100 orders from time to time. But whatever it looks like, that's just what it looks like, and be happy with it. I'm content with what's going down with me because it's taking me to where I need to be. And you have to be able to handle all of what comes at you. So if you say I want be making $300 a pop, okay, well you making $300 a pop. Let's just say you're making $15,000 a month. Do you know your money business to not blow that $300, that $15,000 a month? It's nothing wrong with getting it. You just got to know how to keep it. And a lot of you don't know how to keep it. And sometimes somebody is looking out for you to make sure that you don't get too big for your britches, and that you take time out to learn and grow consistently over time and steadily move up. And for some people, it might happen in 3 years, and others, it might happen in 13 years. But nonetheless, you're moving steadily toward that. That's what it boils down to. So, all right, y'all, I'm out of here. I'm going to print my documents. I'm going to get me some sleep and get ready for tomorrow. I only got one closing and no house inspection. So, Thank y'all for your time. We enjoyed ourselves and greatly appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you for hitting the like button, all of that. Thanks, Greg, for the gifting the channel memberships. Really appreciate that. So everybody, y'all have a wonderful, wonderful sending the Fritter bill to me. Oh man, I meant to show y'all. I went to the Amish bakery today. They had a beautiful peach cake in there. I mean, not cake, pie. So I can't wait to try that. But it's a little late for that. But that peach pie looks good. I bought one today and got my wife some zucchini bread and stuff and some Ezekiel bread. So got some good healthy stuff in there. Not the peach pie, not the peach, but other stuff. All right, y'all. Keep doing what you're doing. I greatly appreciate y'all. Y'all have a wonderful time. Good night to all of y'all.